Great Monday morning, you all. How are you all doing? Happy Monday. This is your girl, Shan. Listen, I hope you all had an amazing weekend. I say that every Monday that I go live. I hope it was relaxing. I hope you was able to get some rest and things like that. You wasn't constantly on the go. And you had some good self-care, okay? I'm starting to love self-care. Anywho, for those of you all who are coming in, good morning, and good morning. I try not to say everybody's name individually because I don't have permission to be saying your name across all our platforms. Anyway, so I'm going to go ahead and give some good old church announcements. If you see me looking down, I'm giving announcements. First up, and I know all those who have served the military, you probably heard it by now, but I wore my hat, proud veteran. I want to say from Marriage Mondays with the Kings, since Veteran Day was on Friday, for everyone who raised their hand and you swore to defend the United States of America, thank you for your service. Thank you for your sacrifice. We know, our families know how much we've sacrificed when we served in the military. A lot of those outside probably don't know. Some maybe have heard, but we thank you from Marriage Mondays with the Kings for your service and your sacrifice. So I wanted to say that first. Now, tonight, we will not have a show of Marriage Mondays with the Kings, so I want to let you all know that as generally what we do towards the end of the year, you got the holidays, me and my husband's anniversary, baby, you know we're going to celebrate that, and things like that coming up. We generally kind of taper off our shows, so stay tuned to Marriage Mornings with the Queen. Look for our announcements, and we'll let you know. We do have some live interviews. We've been starting to interview a lot. So we have live interviews that are scheduled and coming up throughout the rest of the year. So I just wanted to let you all know that. Thank you all for your feedback. Man, listen. It is such a beautiful thing to go out in our community, no matter where we go, Kenya and people say, we watch you all on Facebook. I'm subscribed to you all's YouTube channel. Listen to this show, and when this point was made and that point was made, we don't say thank you for us because that's not who we are. We give God the glory for that because God is using us, and it lets us know that how God used us is ministering to people and it's changing, maybe certain perspectives that they had or whatever. So another thing, if y'all wonder why y'all girl is out here with a stocking cap on and a jacket, it is cold in Texas, baby. It went from a muggy 90 degrees to about 40. But this is my happy place where I like to go live. So, that's why I am out here looking like a whole Eskimo. But all the ladies, come on in. Your sis, your cousin, your auntie, baby, I need to talk to us on this morning. Men, you all feel free to listen. Everybody feel free to put your input in. But I really want to speak to the ladies on this morning. So if you're single, you married, you independent, baby, you divorced, come on in. Now, what I'm going to ask is this. All the ladies who listen in on this morning, please drop your nuggets, because what I desire to do is that we be a blessing to someone else, okay? And one of the things that God allows us to do, my husband and myself, is to provide different perspectives. So everybody's not going to agree, and it's going to be okay with that. Everybody don't agree with me. I'm good as long as I do what thus says the Lord, because y'all know we don't care about what people think. It's only what God thinks. So with that being said, ladies, come on in. This is what I was thinking about. I was thinking about how as an independent woman, I almost allowed my independence from stopping me from marrying a good man, and then it's somewhat destroying my marriage. So that's what I want to talk about. I'm not here to bag on the independent women or whatever. I still have independent qualities inside of me. I'm just going to put it out there and say this. God forbid that me and my husband went our separate ways. When I say independent, that means I'm self-sufficient. I am able and capable to get out on my own and take care of myself and my children and whatever the case may be, because I did it even before I met my husband. So that's what I mean by independent. However, where I want to help some ladies out on this morning, even those who are married and you got a good husband, please don't allow our independence to get in the way of the prayers that we prayed when it came to desiring a husband, okay? Because sometimes our independence can lead us on divorce road. I'm just saying, everybody ain't gonna agree with me on this morning, and it's okay. But what I mean by that is this. In my marriage, I remember after I sat back and I just looked around and really started observing, there were husbands that was doing things for their wives that I wish that my husband would do for me. Can I be transparent on this morning? I wished that my husband, and this is probably like 8-9 years into our marriage, I wished that my husband would do those things for me, right? But this is the reality. I would get mad at my husband or have an attitude with my husband because he wasn't doing little things like opening up the door for me and things like that, just to give an example. But the reality was, when we first started dating, my husband was doing those things. And because I was an independent woman, I would get mad at him. Come on, somebody got to feel me on this morning. I would get mad at my husband for doing the things that a man, even though, you know what I'm saying? I ain't gonna say should be doing, because every man don't do it. You know what I'm saying? But the things that he thought that a man should do, he would do it for me when we was dating, and I would get mad at him because I'm independent. I don't need you to do nothing for me. We go out to eat. He would take me out to a nice restaurant. I'm going to be honest with you all. I had never had a man take me to a restaurant until I married my husband. Okay? Never. I did not know what that was like. So that was foreign to me. And so when it came to my husband taking me out and you wanted to pay for it, this is why we was dating now. Nope. I ain't gonna let you do it. I had all types of attitude and I was mad at him for doing something that he felt that a man should do. Who am I talking to on this morning? Just say ouch, baby. Just say ouch. And like I said, as the ladies, as y'all start coming in, y'all start rolling in, please drop some nuggets if this resonates in your spirit. And not that you're telling on your spouse or you're telling on yourself. We don't understand how our own individual testimonies can help somebody else through their test. Okay? It can help somebody else be blessed. And the thing is, out of our embarrassment, we don't want to share that testimony. But how can we, I don't know why I went here, but I'm going there. How can we talk about the goodness of God and what God has brought us through and how we went through tests that God brought us out of if we're not willing to share our testimony? Come on, I'm going to get up off of that. So back to my little independent self. So 8-9 years into the marriage, my husband, I'm seeing husbands, I'm at church, I'm just going to be real. I seen husbands opening up the doors for their wife to walk through. I seen husbands opening up the door for their wife to get out, whatever the case may be. And I'm sitting up here big mad at my husband because, Joker, why you not opening up the door for me? Okay? The reason why he wasn't opening up the door for me is because I used to get an attitude when we was dating and tell him to stop doing that. That sounds a little bipolar, okay? So, not really. But I'm just saying, I say all that to say this. Ladies, whether you be single, whether you be married, whether you be divorced and you want to be remarried, whether you are independent, because we have a lot of independent women out there that are doing amazing things. They are holding their own and stuff like that. You can still have your sense of independence, but be married and work together as a team. Where we allow our independence, for all the independent women before you got married, to harm us is because we still have that, and I'm going to flip it on y'all in a minute, talking about the men, because I see women say this all the time. We still have that independent mentality. Oh, let this joker do, and I'm out. You won't even really allow yourself consciously to work together with your husband because your mind is so independent. So for my single ladies out there, listen, we say this all the time. This is for single, married, and all of us actually. But for the single ladies, you really need to know what it is. I encourage you to know what it is that you like, okay? I encourage you to know what it is that you would desire for a man to do for you. I mean, in little things like opening up the door, taking out the trash. You know, what do you see in a marriage that you would desire of a man to do for you, right? So, think. But in order for you to really think, you have to actually really truly learn, and I would encourage you to get to know yourself. I didn't get to know who I was or start getting to know who I was until I turned 40. something. Okay, I knew I was a mama. I knew I was a wife. I knew I was a businesswoman. I knew I was a leader. I knew I was a supervisor and all these different things like that. But Shan did not know who she was. This right here is why, and I'm gonna always advocate for counseling. This is why counseling is important. Go before the Father. Pray. Ask God to show you. I say that all the time. Okay? Get into that word. I got into that word and I was like, okay, what did these wives do in the Bible? Because we can learn from people's experiences, whether good or bad. And if it's something that they did that was bad, we don't have to go down the same road that they went down. Okay? So I was like, okay, this wife did this in the Bible. This wife did that, whatever the case may be, right? So get to know yourself. Go before God and process through some things in therapy. Okay? It is okay to have Jesus in the therapist. Y'all heard it. Process. That was the greatest thing that I did. When I talked to my husband, because I got sick and tired of being sick and tired with myself. Okay? Come on. Somebody can't admit that early on a Monday morning. And I remember talking to my husband. I said, I'm going to therapy. I'm going back to therapy. And he was like, okay, are you okay? I was like, I'm tired. I'm tired. I was getting tired of multitasking. I was getting tired of being there for everybody. I was tired and I didn't know who I was. Okay? I know who I was pretending to be. Come on. Come on, y'all not ready for it on this morning. But I didn't know who I was. And men, this can apply to you all as well. I surely encourage you all. Go ahead and find you a therapist and process through some things. I am healed, set free, and delivered. And the key word being free, because I did the work that needed to be done. My marriage is better because of it. Now, this is one thing. A lot of women may say, well, you got to understand, sis, when it comes to desiring a man and you telling me I have to know who I am and what I want and whatever the case may be. But guess what? What we tend to do sometimes as women, and I'm not beating up on us, I'm keeping it real. We desire for a man to do the things that we want him to do, but we don't communicate with him to tell him this is what we want. Okay? The way I used to communicate is when me and my husband would argue, I had an attitude that led into an argument because you weren't doing the things. And then I'm feeling, well, am I not good enough as your wife? I'm sitting up here sacrificing. We in the military, whatever the case may be. Brother so-and-so over there opening up the door for his wife. But then you won't open up the door for me. You're not doing da-da-da-da-da. And he just like, baby, did you forget that when we started dating, you used to get mad at me for doing those things? So I just stopped doing it. This is another thing, ladies, especially for those who are single and definitely in marriage. We require for a man in our minds to be a certain way, right? But we don't get to know our husband or our wife on a deeper level. We don't even probably ask, most of us, some of us, about their upbringing. We don't know if there was a man that was in their life to teach them how to be a man. Just like us as women, we probably didn't have a mentor as older women teaching the younger women, as the New Testament talk about in the Bible, or whatever the case may be, to teach us, hey, you don't have to do things exactly how I do it, but being a wife, you may want to consider this. If your desire is to be a wife, you may want to consider that. You see what I'm saying? Now, here I am, because of my independence, I almost messed up my marriage, and I almost did. Thank God that my husband continued to pursue me. You see what I'm saying? That man did not give up. And he told me out of his mouth when we were dating, even before, when I was like, no, I'm good. It's me and it's my son. I'm good. I was like, I'm good. I don't even want to be in no relationship. I just got out of a bad situation. I'm good. And my husband told me back then, I'm going to continue to pursue you until I see you walk down the aisle with somebody else. He said, then that's when I know. A good man. Come on, somebody. I had pursuing me. But because of my independence, I almost turned away a good man. Then I would have been sitting up big mad, huffing and puffing, ready to blow the house down and saying things like there is no good man out there. So I encourage us as women, we got to know what we want. It is okay. This is another thing as an independent woman, to ask for help from your spouse. Okay? It is okay to ask for help. Baby, God did not design us as women to carry the weight of the world on our shoulders. So when you are no longer two but one flesh, as God's words say, baby, I have no problem saying, baby, can you come and get this? He noticed I ain't feeling good. He's sitting up here taking care, cooking, cleaning, doing all the things. You heard me? A good man. So the reason why I'm bringing up all these various examples is I want us to look at something on this morning. Change the perspective. It's okay to change the perspective that you have. When I say the perspective, I mean the way that you see things and the way that you think. Change the perspective. A lot of us are beating up on each other as husbands and wives because mentally we desire for our husband and wife to be a certain way. That's why we always say communication is important. When you go to a marriage counsel, when you go to your pastor, whatever, you're going to hear communication is important. That's another reason why it is important to get to know who you are as an individual. The way that I used to communicate with my husband was through arguing, was through fussing, cussing, fighting. I didn't use to nag, you know what I'm saying? But baby, you want to fight, I was ready to give you one because I was not backing down, because I was independent. I was buttoned at a sense for leadership, but that was all out of God's will. And so what we'll do is we desire in our mind for a man to be this way or that way. There are so many single women that I'm hearing right now. Like I said, well, I desire for him to be like that. It's good to have your desires. But again, I always say, sweetie, if you're going to have a laundry list of things that you expect from a man, ask yourself, can you meet the demands on your own list? Sis, can you do that? This is why we get married to the superficial. This is why we get married to individuals that have no content. Come on, somebody. Ushers, bring the offering plate, because I know that's a whole word. And we sit out here and we spend more energy and time faking in our marriage instead of actually enjoying each other because we didn't take the time to get to know the content. We didn't sit up and reflect. Can I deal with this situation? You may be a single woman or vice versa, a single man, and you may come into a situation where you meet a man or a woman who already has children. Like me and my husband, we came into a blended situation. Now, I'm going to keep the buck with y'all. I didn't have no problem marrying my husband who had a child because I had a child. To me, that was hypocritical. I'm not going to tell you you can't have a child when I got one. What? I'm not going to date a man who got a child or kids. And then I'm sitting up, what? Like that was hypocritical in my opinion. Now, let me tell you what I wasn't ready for. I wasn't ready for that ex-wife. That's who I wasn't ready for. Because, baby, let's just say all the mutual co-parenting that take place in today's day and time, honey, that was not happening. You heard me? That lady was coming after me, guns a-blazing. So this is something else I'm going to put out there. If you break up, you divorce, you sign the paperwork, y'all split up all the things in the property, when you see your ex move on, that does not call for you to say, oh, because you see them with somebody else, and you start thinking, well, why is it working out with them and it didn't work out with me? A lot of people say that all the time. You see your ex with somebody else, and then all of a sudden you want her back, and then you want to manipulate. This is generally women, manipulate using the kid. Baby, let me tell you something. When I finish with a thing, I don't care what that thing is. It could be a job. It could be a ministry that we used to go to. It could be like me, you, baby. Unless the Lord come down and tell me I'm sure the Shan ain't supervising nothing else, because I don't want to babysit grown adults no more. Them days is over. I've been doing that since I was in my 20s. You hear me? So the thing is, when y'all sign that divorce paper and y'all move on, let it be a move on, okay? What I would encourage you, especially when you divorce, go and get you some counseling. And properly grieve your divorce. Properly understand the things that you did wrong that caused a divorce and what your spouse did wrong to cause a divorce. But what you shall not do, and I'm going to talk like it's a commandment, thou shalt not try to bust up your ex's new situation. Okay? That ain't none of your business no more. Well, Shan, yes it is, because my kids are around. Hold up, swole up. Baby, you using them kids as a manipulation tool, okay? I don't know who I'm talking to on this morning. So I encourage, if you are single, give some grace. because you won't find nobody that's perfect. Okay? I'm not saying settle. I'm not saying ignore the red flags. What I'm saying is get to know yourself and get to know what thou will put up with and what thou wilt not. Okay? So that's for singles. For those who are married, whether it be husband or wife, think about what I said on this morning now. Quit desiring unrealistic expectations of your spouse. Okay? Wives, I could talk as a wife on this morning because I'm a woman. I'm a wife. There was, like I said, I almost warned. If you are an independent woman, baby, make it do what it does. But guess what? You are no longer two, but one flesh. And so what I was going to say earlier is we as women are quick to say when it comes to men, well, you can't act like you out there single. But then, and I agree, you can't act like you out there single. And then you married to me, you in a marriage. 1 minute you kicking it with your boys and acting single. Then the next minute, blah, blah, blah. Baby, we can't do that either. We can't do that either. We can't put the girlfriends before the husband, baby. What? Like, huh? That is out of order. That is nowhere. Thou shalt put your girlfriends before your spouse or your homeboys before your spouse. I ain't find that in the scripture. If you did, go ahead and shoot a message to your girl. I ain't saying I know all the Bible, but I ain't never seen that. For those who have divorced, take your time to grieve, properly grieve your marriage, okay? Stop before the ink is dry. You sliding out for this marriage under another one on somebody else. Before you know it, within 30 days, you talking about I do. You ain't even gave time. Baby, I had a conversation with a young lady not too long ago. She said, Shan, let me ask you something. I said, yes. She said, if you could go back and do it again, what is something in your marriage that you wish that you would not have done? And I told her, I said, I'm going to keep it honest. I said, I love my husband with everything that was in me. I said, but I wish I would not have done was gotten married to him so soon after he got a divorce. I understand the military. Anybody ever served, y'all know what it is. You come down on orders. Baby, you want to be together. We made that thing work. Glory be to God. It wasn't us. It was God. However, I wish I wouldn't have got married so quick. Why? Because it was unfair to me. For the things of the last marriage to roll over in our marriage. A lot of the arguing that we had in our marriage was remnants of the last. Okay? Let me just keep it honest. And then it was not also fair to him. Because, yeah, good man, did all the things. But this is the thing right here. He didn't grieve that divorce. Now, I wasn't pressuring him. He asked me to marry him. Yes, he came down on orders to Fort Hood. We were stationed in Germany, whatever the case may be. And like I done shared with y'all many times before, baby, it could have took my mama to be like, don't marry him. It's too soon, and I wouldn't have. I'm just going to be honest. However, my husband should have taken the time, and I should have afforded him the time to properly grieve his divorce and go to counseling. I did ask. I did ask, even back then, or whatever. So I'm encouraging you all, if you're in a situation where you are engaged and your soon-to-be spouse, your fiance, has not went to counseling to grieve the things that went on, and they had a lot of dysfunctional things that happened in their marriage, baby. And I'm telling you, Shan was fighting, cussing, and doing everything else. Because, baby, I was here for it, okay? Being from the street. What? Look, what, baby? I'm here for all the smoke. I was there for all of it. Ready to get kicked out the military and everything. But God, okay? Somebody felt that in their spirit. So that's what I would suggest. So, ladies, let us take the time. A lot of wives right now, a lot of mothers, a lot of single mothers. Baby, you out here multitasking to the max and you are burnt out. I'm speaking to somebody because that was me. I just sat down one day in my bottom of my doggone closet and just cried because I put more on me. Okay? We know the word of God says that God will not place more on us than we can bear, baby. I was placing more on me than I can bear. Okay? And then trying to get mad at God saying, why are you allowing this to happen? Ladies, I don't care how old you are. Mother shirt is with your daughter, sister shirt is with your cousins, whatever the case may be. Take the time to get to know who you are, okay? All of us do the work that needs to be done. Stop masking it with working, okay? You working too much. Stop masking it with overworking yourself in the church. Stop masking it with overworking yourself as a parent. Take some time. If we didn't learn nothing in the pandemic, why everybody was fussing, cussing, and mad because we all lockdown and this is stupid and this don't make no sense. You should have took the time to get to know who you are, because when you do, you can set healthy boundaries. You can communicate with people. You could tell people how you feel without cussing them out, okay? Because me, when I didn't know how to communicate and you push my button and you hit that right nerve, baby, I was cussing like a sailor. You see what I'm saying? Like a drunken sailor. But when you heal, when you seek God, when you pray, when you get into your word, when you process in therapy and do all the things. I've been in therapy multiple times. Well, time to go back. Just like when I was just in the dentist's office last week. My teeth are sensitive. I'm ready to throw down to Thanksgiving. Guess what? I was at the dentist's office just like I was at my mental health provider. Still have a mental health provider. You see what I'm saying? So take the time to process. Please don't be 60, 70 years old and you still faking like you happy when you're not, okay? Get to know who you are. So I pray that this was a blessing to somebody on this morning. Like I always say, you don't even have to tell me. I don't know who it's for, but God placed it on my heart to share this. Before we can have healthier marriages, healthier families, healthier communities, we got to first do the work within ourselves. Okay, quit running from that responsibility. You can have better marriages. Trust me. My husband said, baby, I love the woman that you are now. I love the woman that I fell in love with, but I definitely love the woman that you matured to be now. And that's the same way I feel about my husband. We ain't got to worry about arguing left and right, because now we know how to communicate with each other and share our hearts, because we took the time as individuals, my husband, therapy, and me too. You know what I'm saying? You got your individual, I got mine. We took the time as individuals to get to know who we are. So that way we can gain those tools, because we don't know everything. Even though we are in the counseling profession, we can gain those tools in our own marriage, okay? The kings will not be hypocrites. So y'all have a blessed week. Don't let anybody steal your joy. Share this because it's free. Again, we will not have a radio show on tonight. We getting tired. We push ourselves in this end of the year, but we will have one next week. So join us back next week. Keep us in your prayers. Thank you so much for supporting us. God bless you all. Blessings to you.